It's Saturday Night Live. And this ain't Saturday Night Live on NBC. This is Saturday Night Live in Baltimore. Racism don't work without black cooperation. Remember that. Mass incarceration is slavery under the 13th Amendment. Baltimore City is under the dissent decree. Baltimore County ain't. I was making a documentary about Baltimore City and Baltimore County courts and the corruption in the courts. Stop and frisk, zero tolerance. The FBI got my paperwork. I got a file with the Department of Justice. And I got a file with parole and probation. And that's what we're going to do. Slavery. Like I said, activism ain't terrorism. I applied for Martin Luther King's job. All right? And that's letters from Zion. That's covered under the First Amendment of the Constitution. Letters to Zion. See that? Rob Fix, EMP Theater, Brad Cartwright, James Pride. I got an array of people that was working on this project. What is the dissent decree? All right, that's the Baltimore dissent decree. And it's about policing in Baltimore. First Amendment, protected activities, all right? I got a freedom of speech, a freedom of assembly, and a right to protest. Martin Luther King taught me that. Letters from a Birmingham jail. So I gave you letters from Zion. It's a ghetto Da Vinci Code. That's parole and probation. All right. That's parole and probation in 2008. All right. Everything that they got, you got to turn over. That's internal affairs from 2010. Baltimore City Police Department. That's the case number 20101440. Like I said, Frederick Douglass. I'm not a slave. I'm a free black man. That's the Weaver, 2021 Weaver Award winner. Weaving the social fabric for social justice and social changes. Yeah. That's Frederick Douglass. That's Frederick. Oh, man, I messed up. That's Frederick Douglass, and I'm going to put you... That's Frederick Douglass, and that's Eric Barron from the Department of Justice. I need all that. I need everything that you got. Eric Barron, you holding evidence. Right here. This is art, piece, and evidence. Phony bomb threat. It wasn't a bomb threat. It was a toilet. Toilet don't care if you black, white, straight, or gay. A toilet take your shit every day. And like I said, First Amendment of the Constitution. Right? I'm having technical difficulties, so I got to pop my page back up. All right? When I pop my page back up, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about Brandon Scott. I'm talking about Mayor Brandon Scott. Talking about Governor O'Malley and his mom machine. On February the 2nd, 2011, I blew the whistle on Scott Shellenberger, Greg Bernstein, and the money y'all was making off of stop and frisk and zero tolerance before y'all put the dissent decree in. I also gave y'all the gun task force because they came in my house and put guns to my head. The FBI got my file. All right? So this is where we starting at. Racism don't work without black cooperation. If you go directly to Dante Hickman, ask Dante Hickman to give you that paperwork. All right? Ask Dante Hickman to give you that paperwork. Then you go to Asselbrook. She got a letter. All right? Her campaign manager is Senator Cardin's works at Senator Cardin's office. Like I said, racism don't work without black cooperation. Ivan Bates is a black state attorney. We have a black public defender. And we have a black circuit court clerk. And we have a black judge named Judge Carrion. And y'all ain't carrying out what protects us. So this is what protects us. See that? 2007. Judge Bell. All right? That's Judge Bell. And that's private citizen appearing before the grand jury. I got a right to appear before the grand jury. All right? That's Dwayne G. Davis, 2006. Get Shorty. All right? That's Get Shorty, and that's Governor O'Malley. That's the Baltimore Sun. The Baltimore Sun, the Waukegan News Sun. Yeah. We talking about FCC violations. Federal communications violations. You feel me? That's Martin Luther King. I started this in December of 2006. All right? Governor O'Malley approved it in November 2006. That's Thurgood Marshall, because like I said, we're going to the Supreme Court. Racism don't work without black cooperation. Thurgood Marshall was the first black Supreme Court justice, and he gave us the right to access the courts. All right, Public Accommodations Act. I own me. I own all parts of me. That's ownership. Dwayne G. Davis, president, secretary. And this is Shorty's underground ribs, like the Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman. That's Senator Ben Cardin's. Everything that Senator Ben Cardin's got, you got to turn over from 2007 to now. Because, like I said, this is a trial about activism. Courtroom 1, 5800 Wabash Avenue, November the 26th, 2024. I want a trial. I want a trial. Just like Martin Luther King led us from a Birmingham jail, I want a trial. I was incarcerated illegally. So we're going to have a trial. That's Jeff Majors, TV One. He was dating Kathleen Hughes. That's Dick Gregory from Summer Jams. That's Mark Clark in the Big Fat Morning Show. That's George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic. I'm the cook in Baltimore, all right? Like I said, I'm the cook in Baltimore. I know everybody and everybody know me. I'm an honorably discharged veteran of the United States Navy. I participated in Iran-Contra. Jimmy Carter christened by ship in 1978-79, the USS Mississippi. I know about latitude and longitude make a motherfucker change their attitude. You feel me? The war on drugs. We transported drugs. Our government transported, distributed, and sold drugs in America to Americans. See who that is? That's Ivan Bates. So we don't have no misunderstanding. See the date? 10/21/2024. I stand ready for trial. I want to go to trial. You can't deny me access to the courts. Gideon versus Wainwright gives me access to the court. And Chief Justice Roberts of the Supreme Court got my paperwork. So does President Biden. That's Governor Westmore. Everything that Governor Westmore got, he got to turn over for this trial. Not only for this trial, but for a federal investigation into the Democratic Party in the state of Maryland. We talking about voter suppression by the Democratic and the Republican Party. You just pardoned 150,000 individuals. Those individuals can vote. They got a right to vote. And we gonna vote. We remember in November. We remember what you did and what you're doing. The criminalization of poverty. That's Senator Ben Cardin. Like I said, everything he got, you got to turn over. That's Jim Jordan, the House Judiciary Committee. See the date? November 2023. It's November 2024, and y'all ain't did nothing about my incarceration yet. For more information about Mr. Davis, he can be found on Facebook page. All right? That's my Facebook page. Twitter, X. All right? Like I said, social media for social change. Parole and probation got the same thing. And my A-frame signs tell you how to follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. From 2006 to now, everything's online. That's Attorney Marilyn Mosby. That's Bishop Dante Hickman. That's Marilyn Mosby. And we talking about the cover-up crew. The cover-up crew. That's the state prosecutor's office. Brian Vaith, Dwayne Davis on Poplar Avenue. We talking about voter suppression in the 2014 elections. See the date? 2023. All right? Friends of Dwayne Davis. Yeah, Brian Vaith died. That was my campaign treasurer. We never established a campaign. But we're going to show you about voter suppression. And the state prosecutor's office had this information. The state prosecutor, Eric Barron, Ivan Bates, Attorney General Anthony Brown, the Dream Team. Well, this is your nightmare. That's Governor Larry Hogan. Right here, to whom it may concern. Like I said, First Amendment. That's a movie release. Governor Larry Hogan got that. Governor Larry Hogan and Yummy made a lot of money off of art and activism, out of art, because Yummy wasn't making money before she got in office. When Yummy got in office, she showed a lot of paintings. Go through the Baltimore Arts District. Yeah. Arts is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's where you launder your money. Larry Hogan been laundering money through art in South Korea. Yeah. Follow the money. These are the supporters, the shorties. Racism don't work without black cooperation, but it ain't going to end without white participation. If you look at these zip codes, these are white people standing up for my black ass. That's Judge Sauter. All right there. Judge Souter, 2004. Judge Souter permitted corruption in my trial. She permitted false evidence to be submitted, false witnesses to appear, perjury. She permitted all that. So Judge Souter's part of that investigation. Judge Souter, Judge Janae, Judge Turnbull ain't here, but Bobby Zirkin is. Bobby Zirkin's law firm, Scott Shellenberger. We're going to follow the money and see the money that David Smith put in y'all's hands to play politics in Maryland. That's State of Maryland versus Dwayne G. Davis. That's Pastor Caples, my brother Mark Davis, Lionel Farmer, Herbert Stackhouse, Art Peterson from the Lake County New Sun. All right. Long story short, I'm a jailhouse lawyer and I defended myself, and this was my witness list. 074988. I never got a trial. That witness list, most of these people are signed off on the movie Letters Design. They got movie releases to match that. Right here, Division of Lake County Adult Correctional Division. All right. Clearly states here, follow Freedom of Information Act. My lawyer participated in fraud. And these are other inmate request slips. And these are mail receipts. That's Mayor Brandon Scott. That's Senator Bill Ferguson. That's Omar Juentes from CNN. That's Chief Justice Roberts of the Chief Justice Mary Barbera. That's Ivan Bates. And that's Judge Badar. That's Judge Badar. That's Ivan Bates. This is the dissent decree. Ivan Bates and Judge Badar got this information. Y'all violated this dissent decree. Right here, First Amendment, protected activities. That's Ivan Bates. That's Judge Badar. It's making a movie about y'all. Y'all are the characters of the movie. That's Natasha, State Public Defender's Office. That's Tina from Out for Justice, Trina. That's Attorney General Anthony Brown. That's Chief Justice Roberts of the Supreme Court and President Biden, April 2024. That's Attorney General Anthony Brown. That's Judge Carrion. That's Governor Larry Hogan. Like I said, it's a movie. And these are the people in the movie. Governor Wes Moore, Delegate Sheila Roof, State Attorney Marilyn Mosby, Luke Clippinger, Governor Wes Moore, Peter Francott. Y'all got to produce all this material. That's the director and the Center of Criminal Justice and Reform, University of Baltimore, School of Law. All right. Activism on trial. That's Anthony Barksdale, Deputy Mayor of Public Safety, Baltimore Street. Activism on trial. Activism on trial, 2007 to 2024. That's Senator Ben Cardin. All right. Activism on trial. That's Adam from the Maryland Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. That's Kwesi Mfume. He wrote the letter. So Kwesi Mfume, activism on trial. Federal investigation. That's activism on trial. That's Dana Moore. She got a flag and a plethora of information. Dana Moore had me put out of the State of the Union, the State of the City. And Dana Moore got to turn over that information. That's conspiracy against my civil rights. And you the officer of civil rights. That's Jared Gimenez. We talk about voter suppression. Ex-felons got a right to vote. We talk about 2014, 2022, and 2024. Early voting is going on. So y'all need to handle this before the voting ends. That's the Department of Justice. All right. The U.S. Marshals Department. And he used to be with Mayor Pugh and Mayor Brandon Scott. That was security. So he went to the Department of Justice now. Met him at Starbucks. That's David Smith. That's where this all started at. I put a toilet in front of David Smith's station. That's his house. And David Smith been knowing about this since 2007. David Smith paid off Ivan Bates. David Smith paid off Scott Shellenberger and Baltimore County Board. He paid off a lot of money in Baltimore County because he owns Baltimore County. They divided the city up. They still in the city and they live in the county. And that's David Smith. Activism on trial. That's Nicole Porter, Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. Activism on trial. That's the FBI. FBI Chicago, FBI Baltimore. Y'all got my paperwork. That's Ivan Bates. That's Ivan Bates. So I need to know now, do blacks have rights in which white America respects? Because that's what I asked Mackenzie Frost. Brooks would have asked, are you going to defend black people when you sit in that seat? Are you going to pass the George Floyd bill? Pastor Dante Hickman, share my paperwork. Yeah, I gave y'all a break yesterday. I didn't give Mackenzie Frost a break. Activism 101. Activism ain't terrorism. It's covered under the Dissent Decree. First Amendment. First Amendment, protected. You feel me? So we don't have no misunderstandings and everybody on the same page. You go to Commissioner Harris. Commissioner Harris ain't commissioner no more. That means that prosecutorial immunity don't apply to him. That means he can go to jail. We talk about Operation Greylord like Chicago. They send a lot of people to jail in Chicago. They don't send people to jail here. You only send black people to jail here in Maryland. We're going to send some white people to jail. We're going to start with David Smith. Then we're going to go to Scott Shellenberger. Then we're going to go to the Baltimore County Board. And if you had knowledge of the corruption and if you participated in it, that makes you parties to a crime. It's the RICO Act. Yeah, look at the RICO Act. It's a Kodak moment. It's going to last forever. Social media for social change. All right, social media for social change. Remember the date? Remember who was there? I was there. You feel me? Brooks. So get my paperwork. Give me my day in court. Because I'm going to keep protesting. I'm going to keep putting toilets out. I found your Achilles heel. Did you use the toilet today? You're going to think about me tomorrow. Potty training politicians. People pay attention to dumbass shit. Public accommodations. The right to use the bathroom. Letters design. First Amendment. Topics of the Dissent Decree. The First Amendment. Activism ain't terrorism. That's evidence.